This one is a doozy. So most of us have had our gradebook categories done for years, and they always carry over into a new year, so we do not need to do them. So this one is one that you might have forgotten how to do. So you need to have categories set up in your gradebook so that the calculations happen accurately according to your desires. So in order to do this, you're going to go into your gradebook. What I did, to be honest with you, is I forgot my categories. I've been using them for so long, I forgot what they were. I mean, I know what they are in my head, but I forgot actually what they were, calculated as. So I actually went into one of my older classes, and then I can go into my categories, and then I see my categories. I can see my code, I can see the description, I can see I use middle school grading scales, I can see the weight, and I can see the percent. So that might be something helpful to you if you can't remember, is to go back into an old class. In order to do that, remember to see all of your classes from the year. You need to use this filter here, which is this year's classes. If yours is only showing current classes, you cannot go back in and capture what your categories were. So that is a fun fact that might help you. So let's go set up categories in our new classes. I happen to know this is a new class. I'm going to go to the left-hand side where it says categories, and oh no, it's blank. So much work to do. So what I am going to do is hit on options. I'm going to add, wait a second. Options, import categories, import. You can go to another social studies class in the past. So then I see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are my older classes, and I know all of these had the same categories. So I can just go click onto this, and I can say OK. And what that is going to do is I'm going to select all categories. That's to import, and I'm going to import it. That imports my categories without having to individually go and add them, okay? So that was options, add, but go over here to import categories. That's going to save you a lot of time. Now, let's say you want to do no categories and you don't want to import old categories. So you can go to the same thing. You can go to add, and you can just type in a code. So I'm going to call this one, I'm going to call it, I got a caps lock on, attendance, okay? I don't really count attendance, but this is just for example purposes. So I'm going to type attendance here. I'm going to do a category weight, okay? So some people think attendance is super important. What percentage of your grade do they think attendance should count? I don't count it as anything. Like, this is just an example. I can count it as 10%. I can count it as 1. I can count it as 0. So I'm going to count it as 0 because it doesn't really count. My grade scale name. When you choose your grade scale name, you're going to go to the little magnifying lens. You want it to be middle school grading. That is different from elementary and anything else on this list. So make sure your grading scale is being used middle school grading. Click OK. Now that I have that, entry mode. Entry mode means, are you going to be adding letters or numbers? I like to choose both, and it gives me the option to do numeric only, letter only, or both. I like to choose both. I suggest you keep that there. Now, total points, because I calculated this as 0, I'm going to do this as 0. If you did this as 10, then you can do this as 10. If you do this as 90, you can do this as 90. Extra credit points, I don't really do that. Assignment default weight, I don't do that. Score cannot be dropped. I don't happen to drop scores. Plus, you can do it in an individual assignment if you wanted to do that. And the visibility type, you want to be public because you want kids to be able to see it and you to be able to see it and case managers to be able to see it. And then at the bottom, I have my classes all linked. So if you have your classes linked, then this is going to do it in every single one of your classes. It will be the same category. So I do recommend, if you're going to link your classes, you do that first, then you set your categories, because then you won't have to do it 5 times. So you basically now this attendance is going to be one of my categories that I am going to set into my list. I'm going to link it with my other classes, which was already done before I got into categories, and then I'm going to click save. I am not going to click save because I don't use attendance for a category. So I'm going to cancel. But remember, a short name for your code, a long name for your code, your category weight and total points will be the same. So if you want it to count, like say you want summative assessment, tests and quizzes to count for 90%, then you put a 90 in and a 90. If you want practice to count as the 10%, formative assessment 10%, you would put 10%, 10%. Make sure you change it to middle school grading, both public, and then save. I'm going to press cancel. It will go back to all of my codes, and you can see over here that you have my percent and my weight. Make sure, not to mention any names, Russo, make sure that you add up to 100%. Just saying. So if you have 90% of summative assessments, then you should have another 10 somewhere else. I happen to count, oh my gosh, it added attendance anyway. Son of a gun. I added these as 0. So for instance, I keep a respect grade in my grade book because I like the kids to be able to see how they're doing. And I like to keep a participation in active learning category so that they can see if they need to participate more, if they need to be more active in their learning, listening, focusing, asking questions, answering questions. So I put that as a PAL grade, but it's 0%. So it shows in the grade book as it's important, but it is not knocking them down mathematically because I want summative tests and quizzes to be the majority of my grade. For best practice wise, if you read warmly or you're into that kind of thing, then summative should be really about 90%. I do practice at 10%, but your own philosophy will drive what you use for your codes and your percents. That is it. Have a good day.